jungle.
You're listening to Drunk with Questions Sports. All topics on and off the field.
We're providing fan-driven conversation about anything sports. Join us on our journey into insanity as our favorite teams slowly but surely break our souls.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Drunk with Questions Sports. I'm Gooch, and with me today is Raj.
Hello, everyone. This is your friendly neighborhood Indian here. We're here talking about sports, anything that's happened before in preseason or anything that's happening currently and what we might think might happen in the future. So we wanted to take a moment and kind of explain what this podcast is to you guys. I know you guys are familiar with Drunk with Questions, but this is our sports-based podcast that we'd like to use as a way for us to talk about our opinions on sports that's happening currently, as well as profess our deep found love for our individual sports teams, and also talk about things that are happening, whether it's NFL, NBA, and NCAA, everything. So we wanted to take a moment and kind of explain this to you guys so that way you're ready for this type of podcast. So it's got to get rowdy.
And it's not like there's not anything going on out there. Am I right, Raj?
Oh, there's always something going on in sports. As we've we've had plenty of news this year to talk about. So we wanted to start off with talking about NCAA. We're both huge college football fans, and college football takes up a huge part of our Saturdays, while NFL takes a huge part of our Sundays. So our significant others are never happy with us during this period of time. So we wanted to vent our frustrations to you guys.
And to be fair, I've always been a fan of college football, way more than NFL. These kids are out there, they're playing their hearts out, they're trying to move on to that next level. As much as the NFL is fun to watch because they're big, burly, and they're the top 4,000 in the country, it's always good to see people that actually have competitive spirit left inside of them, I think. So, but if we're going to talk about competitive spirit, let's talk about a game that had absolutely none last weekend. Iowa versus South Dakota State.
Yeah, that was two turtles fighting. That's what that game was. That was the most unimpressive.
Defensive turtles,
Yes.
mind you.
Just two turtles in their shells, just fighting each other with nothing else. It was the most embarrassing game that I think I've ever seen from Iowa. Iowa is known to be a defensive powerhouse, but they also have some offensive capabilities. But what was it, North Dakota State? Or South Dakota State. I don't even know what their logo is. And these guys barely managed. They managed a field goal and two safeties.
Literally.
Do you know how embarrassing that is for the Big Ten?
Unbelievably.
Yes. Can we just vote to remove them? Like some other, let the ACC have Iowa. Can we get Clemson? Like, can we get some actual teams, please? You know what? Clemson would probably beat our ass every day. So let me just explain it to you guys. We're Big Ten fans. I'm a Michigan fan.
Michigan State. So we're best friends, but we both love rival teams. And when it comes to that time of the year when we match up, all friendships are gone. Yeah. So for all the listeners, the total. If you could call it offense, the total offensive points posted were 2 field goals, 1 for each team, and 2 safeties in Iowa's favor. Score 7-3 Iowa. Yeah, scary stuff to see that, especially against a team like South Dakota State. Maybe they did put a lot of work into their defense this year. Maybe they were ready for Iowa. That might be one of the 2 biggest games that they're going to play this year. But it's scary to see that Iowa might actually not have an offense at all this year. We're talking about a game that was plagued with dropped passes on both sides. I believe there were 2 fumbles, 1 for Iowa, 1 for South Dakota State.
And they still couldn't capitalize?
Yeah, and not only that, Iowa had 2 sacks. South Dakota State had 3.
Oh my God. It's
So,
just
so
it's
what's
so
scary is like,
embarrassing.
oh yeah, it might be a good defense, right? On Iowa's side, maybe they kind of underestimated their opponent. We see that happen all the time in college ball, but the the issue is they had no offense. I mean, there was nothing. They couldn't get anything going. They couldn't adapt to the situation that they were in, and that just doesn't bode very well for the rest of their season. Especially when we think about Iowa, not even 5 or 6 years ago when they were literally a powerhouse.
I'm fully convinced they don't have an actual college team. I think they just recruited the local high school team and was like, we need help.
All the
And yeah,
corn-fed boys out
all
there.
them corn fed boys, they thought they had it in the bag. But I mean, you look at a team like Iowa and we're like, and we expect them to, I mean, even if they didn't stomp on this team in the middle of South Dakota, we expected some kind of offense. I would have taken a couple touchdowns, please.
I would have taken a touchdown after seeing
Like,
that.
don't let the 7-3 fool you. That wasn't a touchdown. That was a 3-point kick and two safeties.
Congrats.
Yay! Congratulations. And then you look at a game like North Carolina and Appalachian State. Ladies and gentlemen, Appalachian State
Woo!
coming in absolutely guns blazing. Now, North Carolina is not some powerhouse team. We're well aware of that. But the fact that the final score for the North Carolina and Appalachian State game was 63-61. Ladies and gentlemen, that's college football.
Amen.
That's what we expect. 63-61, and it was a fist fight to the very end.
Hmm.
And those Appalachian State Mountaineers would absolutely run a train on Iowa.
Oh yeah,
Iowa
that
has
would have
no
been a
chance.
scary game if they
Like
had
I,
played. Yeah.
I, I hold no love for Appalachian State because they created one of the most embarrassing moments for my team, Michigan, when they upset us.
I
So I
love
mean, I don't hold
upsets.
any I don't hold any love for them, but my God, when you get shown up by Appalachian State, this is the first time that I think I would have ever gone from a Big Ten game and just been like, no, you know what? I'd rather watch North Carolina Appalachian State. That sounds like a fun time to me because God, that was an embarrassment.
It kind of seems like somebody's playing the Dynasty mode in that old NCAA football game that you could play on the PS3, and they picked Appalachian State.
They,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're like, we were
yeah.
so close. Next year
I
we got
remember
them.
that NCAA, dude. That bring NCAA back, please.
Oh man, that would be so
Please
cool.
bring that back. That was one of the best games before Madden absolutely
Way better than
destroyed
Madden.
football gaming. But other than that, yeah, we wanted to talk about the rankings. Really, one of the things that I mean, as a Michigan fan, I love the rankings. It's great, especially since it has us
Oh
ranked at
yeah.
number 4 and number 5.
I'm sure
But
a team
but
that went
I
up 4 spots for beating fucking Colorado State would be happy with
Oh
the
yeah.
rankings.
Oh yeah. Well, it's okay. Michigan State's always been a little salty when it came to the rankings. And I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it's warranted, but other times, I mean, they
We
beat
didn't jump up 4 spots. We still whooped
Western.
Western's butt.
Yeah, but did you whoop it as effectively as Michigan whooped the other team?
I think so. We went to our secondary in the second half, but hey,
We
whatever.
were in our third string by the time we got to that. We were third
That dude's
string
like,
teams,
that
dude.
dude's like, I didn't know I was gonna get field time this year.
Yeah, no, we
He's
had
like,
we
he's like
had
the quarterback from Blue Mountain State. He was like, I just like the parties.
no,
I don't
this
want to play.
we had freaking we had scouts out there, dude. We had people from high school just scouting. It's like, hey, you want to put on some Michigan gear and go play, go do it. And it was an ass kicking. And I felt bad because I don't think they scored until like late into the fourth quarter. That was the
I believe
one
so.
touchdown they had. Other than that, it was basically 7 sacks. I mean, I wouldn't have believed it unless I saw it myself, but 7 sacks in a game. I don't care who you're playing, but you had 7 sacks in a game. That's impressive.
That's very impressive.
Now, that doesn't give me full confidence in the defense of my team. The offense is great. I think the offense will be phenomenal this year, unless they run into a brick house. But you live and learn. That's part of the process. But when you're dealing with a defense that's so young, we don't have Aiden Hutchinson anymore. We don't have Ojabo on the side anymore. So we have some guys that need to be tested, and we kind of have to figure out if if they have what it takes to take us back the the playoffs.
Big
I mean, I'm
leagues.
not
Yeah.
really sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure. And I do, I am very wary of the fact that we're ranked ahead of Clemson in one of them. It's hard for me to. Clemson deep pantses people. Okay, they bend them over no lube, and they just hold your mouth while they give it to you. Okay,
Wow.
like
Very
it is what
descriptive.
it is. Yes, because they have a bunch of non-negotiables, as
Yeah.
Valenti likes to put it. Non-negotiables are basically things that SEC teams just are so good at creating. They have either a non-negotiable offensive line. You walk on that field, you're not running the ball. That's a non-negotiable, and these SEC teams have that. You go up against Alabama, they're going to run a train on you. That's a non-negotiable.
Yep.
There's very few teams that could actually hold up to that. So Alabama is ranked number 1, Georgia ranked number 2,
From number
Ohio
four.
State number 3, and then Michigan number 4. Now, this is going to be, I'm sure a lot of Michigan fans are going to give me hate for this, but I do want to say I do not think that we believe we I don't think that we should be ranked this high. It's a scary thought for me because the higher you're ranked, the harder you can fall. And
Mm-hmm.
that fall is going to be catastrophic if things go sideways. So I mean, we got one great, absolutely great unranked to number 2 season last year. I mean, it would be ridiculous for us to continue that right now without having some hiccups. So I would say if you're a smart man, you would put Clemson 4 as the coaches poll has it, and then maybe even Oklahoma
Yeah.
because they're a pretty good team. I mean, I don't care who's on the. So I mean, so we have Michigan State at number 14. Did I think that they deserve to be ranked 14th? No, I think they should be above top 10. They should
Probably
be
after
above.
last year's play, like the way they played last year and the year before. And,
Yeah.
we're talking about COVID years and shit too. I mean, obviously that doesn't give you a really good insight into what they might be coming with.
Mm-hmm.
But you also got Tucker Carlson coming in. Um, he's gonna make some changes, man. I mean, I really do. I believe in him. And if you live in East Lansing or anything like that, you keep seeing the shirts tuck coming, stuff like that. I mean, he's he's really got the heart for that team, and that's what they really needed after D'Antonio left.
No,
So
absolutely. I don't think they could have picked a better coach to take over for D'Antonio
no,
because you needed somebody charismatic. Because D'Antonio wasn't really a charismatic leader. He
he was
was
just a
very
good
stone
leader.
faced. He was just very good at what he did, and
Yes.
he was the bane of our existence for a long time. So for a good while, we traded blows left and right. But I mean, it gets to a certain point where if you can't beat State, you're not beating Ohio State. And it was a rare occasion last year where we lost to State in very depressing fashion, but then we rallied up to beat Ohio State and ruin their season, which
Yep.
was phenomenal.
That's awesome.
That's honestly the best thing you can ask for. But for as a Michigan fan, I don't think it's complete. So in the Big Ten, if you're a Big Ten fan, you understand this. There are maybe 4 to 5 teams out of every Big Ten out of the conference that are actual contenders. So in the past, it's been Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Those have been the cornerstones of the Big Ten group, and they're the ones that always kind of represent and actually put up a fight when it needs to be. The rest of the teams are basically there to get absolutely demolished when the other teams come into town. Like nobody's excited for a Maryland game other than if you're looking just for a points race. I mean, there are some cases, of course, where teams rally and it's a good story when things like that happen, especially when Purdue is known to be kind of like that, where they'll
Yep.
kind of wreck seasons for people. Purdue Boilermakers, like they'll have a really terrible game against an awful team, and then they'll come out against Ohio State and almost beat them.
Hmm.
So like that's the kind of
Northwestern
stuff.
too. Northwestern can be
Not
scary.
not as much of late because they were really
True, not lately. I'll
when
give
they
you
were
that.
running the Wildcat offense and they were doing it effectively, they were an absolute monster to go
Hmm.
against. Nobody wanted to because it was hard for defenses to cover that. But so Michigan runs a pro style offense. So does Wisconsin. I think so does Iowa. Michigan State and Ohio State kind of run like a West Coast style offense, more of run and gun, where they're kind of doing play action out, roll out, and then tossing it. Um, and that's kind of the two styles that we get. So the thing about the Big Ten games is a lot of people it's a heavily defensive based game. So there might not be the largest like points differential that you might see in like an ACC game, but it's going to be a battle.
Hmm.
But as of late, it's pretty much been Michigan, Michigan State, and Ohio State. They've pretty much been it. Like Iowa makes it to the Big Ten title game, but that's only because they have booty on the other side. Like it's almost nobody, no competition for them. Like Iowa just cruises through.
Yeah,
So I mean, it'd be interesting to see. Wisconsin's ranked number 19th right now, so I'm interested to see if they're actually
yeah,
going to be competitive this year. Michigan State's 14, and then Michigan and Ohio State are taking the 3 and 4 spots. So Big Ten has some representation, but we'll see how long it lasts because I really think there are some sleeper teams this year. What do you think?
um, as far as just the Big Ten,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think it's all going to be pretty standard. I mean, we're like I said, we're talking about the first normal season since COVID hit, right? I think we're going to see some really strong games out of some of those sleepers, like we were talking about, Wisconsin and um, you know, hell, maybe even Minnesota. Who knows, right?
Row
So
the boat.
row the boat. You can't deny his success when he was at Western. So
Yeah, he had one
or
year of
Central,
success
whatever
and
the yeah.
dipped. He got that offer, that tasty little
Yep.
Big Ten offer, and he just said, "Okay, thanks, bye."
So yeah, you can't deny the possibility there. Maybe Iowa will. Maybe this was just a bad game. Maybe they'll be able to get their crap together, and start climbing the ranks. Because at the end of
Oh
the day, this
man,
is still a win, no matter how bad it
that
looks.
that Monday practice after that kind of game,
Oh yeah.
they were probably doing up downs until they puked.
Um,
Woo.
I think Ohio State is going to surprise us this year. After their, I'd call it subpar performance last year. Because they were able to, I don't know, heal, I guess would be the word, after all the bullshit that happened with their coaching staff. So we'll see what happens there. I think Michigan State will be more of a contender than people think they're going to be, even with a new coach. I think Michigan is going to do really, really good. And with the Big Ten, I don't think we're actually going to know anything until probably early October, mid October. Um, feel like I might be able to make some better calls after right before the Michigan State game, which is usually around Halloween there. So
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, week one it's hard, especially with you see shit like that Iowa game, but then you see shit like that Notre Dame versus Ohio State game where everyone was ragging on Notre Dame. They were like, uh, they're being talked up too much. They're not going to be that good, and they actually held their own pretty well against Ohio State, 10-21 for OSU. But it wasn't that close of a game for long. I think OSU put up the last couple points in the fourth. So
yeah,
I
definitely.
mean,
Because Notre Dame is a sleeper team for sure, and they've always been. I mean, I miss the time when Notre Dame was always on Michigan's schedule. Notre Dame, Michigan. We had a night game that was to be remembered back in the Denard Robinson era, and that was something cool to see. But so Michigan's a little weird, guys. For those of you that are listening outside of Michigan, like we hate each other. So if you're a Michigan fan, you hate Michigan State, and if you're a Michigan State fan, you want to burn anything Michigan. So like,
they even go to the either the big University of Michigan M that's in the middle of the campus, and they'll paint it green, or they'll come to Michigan State's campus and they'll paint Sparty, the bronze statue, yellow and blue.
it's that kind of stuff. So like, as much as we hate each other, there's just something about Michigan State going into that October game both undefeated.
Yeah, if they both go in undefeated, usually the one who walks out with the win really just propels.
Yes.
Especially as of late, like we were talking, it wasn't so much that I'd say pre 2015, pre
Mhm.
2014, but ever since 2014, 2015, um, man, it's been a slog.
It has been. It
They'll
has been.
play and then they'll whoever wins will just fight Ohio State to the tooth, man. Like and it's ugly sometimes. It's fun to watch, but it can be ugly.
It can
So.
be really ugly. And I mean, we've been on the receiving end of the Ohio State punishment train for
Mhm.
17 years, guys. So 1-16 is an astronomical figure for you guys to understand. But Ohio State, Michigan is the winningest team in college football, but that was a while ago. And as Michigan fans, we have to realize that this is not the Lloyd Carr era. This is not the Bo Schembechler era. Like, we have been getting our asses kicked for a while now, and we were able to give Ohio State a little bit of that taste. But I think the biggest issue with the Big Ten is we still can't really compete with the SEC. We know by the time the college football playoffs come around, the SEC is going to comprise either half or three-fourths of the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. And it's just the way it is. Sometimes Oklahoma, like a Big 12 team will make it in. And like last year was what was it? Alabama, Georgia.
Mhm.
And then we had what who was the sleeper team? I forget. Who was the third one? Do you remember?
Last year,
Yeah, because we were Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, and then somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but it was another.
I don't remember.
I can't remember either, but it's just so hard for Big Ten teams to compete. Ohio State did it once. They competed against Alabama. Um, but most of the time we get there, we just get absolutely depanced. And that's just the case. I don't know what it is that they're feeding these kids, but there's just some unnatural ability for these guys that we just can't compete with yet until it's proven otherwise. As far as it seems that that Big Ten is going is just to get into the playoffs.
So yeah, Michigan State versus Michigan in the last 10 matchups, 6-4 in favor of Michigan State.
Yeah, so that just explains to you the dire situation that Michigan's been in. Like, it used to be a time where Michigan State wasn't really all that much other than just a Michigan thing. Like, people in Michigan cared about it, but nobody else did. And it was just basically, Sparty against Michigan, and it was basically on our way to go fight Ohio State. And that's basically what they looked at it like. But I think the change in mindset for Michigan from going into this big brother mentality to being the little brother, because that's what we are at the moment. If you look at the rankings and you look at the scores that we've had in the past 15 to 20 years, we are little brother. I hate to have to say it. I mean, it's the truth. And we have to treat each of these games, Michigan State, Ohio State, we have to treat it like it's our Super Bowl. And we have to go at both of these teams if we want to be anywhere competitive enough by the end of the season.
U of M versus OSU right now for the past 11 years. 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9-2 OSU with one canceled game. So it's 12 years.
That's so
It
bad.
hurts. That hurts, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, and OSU's had some crazy powerhouse teams. Like, Urban Meyer era was absolutely vicious to us. And I mean, I can say, oh, we've had some missed calls here and there, and I'm sure we have, but the matter the thing is, last year when Michigan played Ohio State, it didn't matter what the calls were. It didn't matter what the refs made. Did not matter. That was 60 minutes of Michigan forcing their will on Ohio State, and Ohio State buckled. That's how a football game should be. If you win like that, that's a convincing win.
Right.
A win on a technicality just means that you're going to go into the playoffs and get your ass kicked anyway.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a difference to me.
But so yeah, some of the crazy movements on the top 25. Florida went to number 12 from no rating. Tennessee went to 24 from no rating. Georgia went back to number 2, and Michigan went up to 4, jumping 4 spots. So pretty big jumps for Florida and Tennessee there,
Yeah.
especially when we start talking about games that are actually coming up for week 2. The biggest games in the NCAA for week 2, we got number 24 Tennessee going against number 17 Pittsburgh.
Interesting.
Uh,
ACC.
yeah, I'm probably going to give it to Pittsburgh on that
I
one.
think so too. Yeah, absolutely.
Number 9 Baylor versus number 21 BYU.
Baylor.
Probably
Yeah.
BYU might though. I don't
I mean,
know.
them Mormons, man. You never know.
Number 20 Kentucky versus 12 Florida. That might be a good one. That might be a
Yeah,
good one.
I've always see Florida's fallen so far from its
I know.
grace, like from like the Urban Meyer. Florida was a powerhouse, and now it's like barely competing middle of the pack.
I know. So
Maybe
Kentucky
like
might have a shot with that one.
yeah, Kentucky like the change between going from 12 to 20 is not that much.
Um, Number 10, USC versus no rating, Stanford, unranked.
See, that used to be a great game too.
Yeah.
Stanford used to be another team.
And now look, USC
Yeah,
is going to
you
spank them.
USC might spank them.
That is also a rivalry game.
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
Bama versus Texas. Number one Bama, unranked
I'm
Texas.
looking forward to it, dude. Texas Longhorns. I've been a secret fan of the Texas Longhorns for so long, back from when Vince Young was playing.
Hmm.
You remember that? Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
god, the Vince Young, the Texas versus USC game, man. I've been a secret fan of Longhorns for a long time.
it's that's Texas's chance to kind of.
If Texas pulls this off, man, I might
Oh
have to buy a
man, that'd
Texas
be
shirt.
that'll probably be one of the biggest upsets of the year if
Oh
they
yeah,
pulled
dude.
that off.
You watch Alabama fall to number 2 if they lose to Texas.
Yeah, that's all their fault.
Yeah, that's all their
They
fault.
won't go much
They're
further,
not going far.
even though it's an unranked team.
I mean, it is what it is. It's
Um,
Bama.
and just for giggles and shits, if you're interested, number 6 Tamu versus unranked Appalachian State. Be interesting.
Boys, do not sleep on
Don't sleep
Appalachian
on App
State.
State, baby.
App State's coming for next, man. Oh my
Yeah.
God,
They
they're
got their
headhunting.
pickaxes and everything, man. They're ready.
Bro, these Mountaineers are ready to climb that ass if you're not careful. So y'all better come in with your boots strapped, because holy crap, man, that was a fun game to watch. And I mean, that's the thing about college football, man. You get upsets. You get these small teams coming in and just blitzing some of these bigger teams that aren't expecting it. So, I mean, they're probably on notice after watching that last game. Like, North
I would
Carolina's not
hope
a
so.
powerhouse, but I mean, to put 61 on a team,
That'd be scary. Yeah, that's scary.
yeah.
All right, so I say we shift it over to NFL now. So week 1 of the NFL coming up here, starting tomorrow, Thursday. It's
Yes.
Wednesday for us, by the way. So even though we are going to talk about a little bit about the Rams and the Bills, because we love our Matt Stafford. We miss him every day from the
Oh,
Lions.
yes.
But you know
Yes.
what? He
God
deserved his
bless him
Super
for
Bowl
leaving.
ring.
Yeah.
I'll give
And
it to him.
he just proved to every naysayer, every single time you listen to the radio, it was also always about Matt Stafford didn't do this. Matt Stafford caused us to lose. Never blaming any of the defensive inadequacies, never blaming that he had no weapons. Guess what? You put him in a competent team, he wins you a Super Bowl.
One
That's who Matt
fucking
Stafford
year.
is. I will
1 year.
always have my Matt Stafford Lions jersey on me. I don't care what anybody says. He's one of the best in the league.
Yep. And he got screwed, and quite frankly, I think both of us are happy that he got what he deserved. He needed the
Absolutely. I
ring.
mean, because Lions as a franchise is a
Broken.
corruptive force, is what it is. It takes great players. We had Megatron.
Oh
We had
yeah.
Calvin Johnson, Matt Stafford, and we somehow found a way to
And
ruin both of
Sue.
them. We ruined Barry Sanders, dude.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders didn't become an NFL icon or a Hall of Fame player because of the Lions.
Yep.
He became that because he had to, because the Lions sucked so bad
Yep.
that he had to do all these things and stand out and do. He's not a flashy person, but we still find a way to ruin these absolute talent of human beings, and we just corrupt them. And after Calvin Johnson left, they tried to like make him give his signing bonus back or some
Yeah.
shit. After everything that man did, you know how much money they made off of Megatron merchandising? And you're over here asking for a couple mil back, you sad saps. Martha Ford, the Ford family, please sell the Lions.
I know.
You
If
don't
they sold the
deserve
Lions, I think it would change that team because it's never going to leave Detroit. That's the problem.
No.
I
You know
mean,
who I want? I want the Quicken Loans guy.
Dan Gilbert.
Dan Gilbert. I know he's sick and he's not doing well. I mean, I'd rather have his family running it than the Fords. You're a disgrace.
I agree.
Stop it.
But yeah, so NFL, interesting games. Yeah, Bills versus Rams. We'll see. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen is no joke. Don't sleep on Josh Allen. Now, the biggest thing that's going to come into play is whether that Bills defense is coming to play. That's
true.
what it's going to be. Will the Bills defense come to actually play, or is this going to be
A sleep
just a Matt
test.
Stafford show? Like,
Yeah,
is that what it's going to be? So the Bills defense comes to play and Josh Allen is on point. I mean, this could be a very close game. So don't be very careful on how you pick this because I mean, I still believe Los Angeles is going to win by maybe 3 to 6 points. I think this is going to come down to a kicked field goal.
probably. Packers versus Vikings.
It's going to be another great game. I hate Aaron Rodgers, but that Packers defense is apparently going to be something fun to watch. So
Yeah,
that's going to be something cool.
he needs to retire though.
Yeah, he's dude,
After last year, man. Holy
take his
shit.
goatee and his stupid ass face out. He's such a God. He's such a prima donna. Whatever. Yeah. So Green Bay against Minnesota. Green Bay is going to win. Minnesota's not going to be able to move the ball. I mean,
No.
Minnesota has Adam Thielen, and he's going to be able to like get some yards here and there. But I get the feeling that watching Green Bay is going to be a bend but don't break defense.
I agree. Lions versus Eagles.
We're going to lose.
Are you saying that because you believe it or because you're just telling yourself that so if we win, you're excited?
It's so hard to get rid of SOL.
I know.
So for those that are listening, SOL is same old Lions. This is a Michigander saying that is as old as the Lions, it seems. At least since the Lombardi Trophy became a thing. So it seems every year we get our hopes up and we just get decimated. And whether or not I'm going to go to a Lions game is determined by how they're doing this year. Because I remember me and you went to a Lions game in Thanksgiving and they blew a 24-point lead to the Bears with Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. Thank God I was hammered.
Oh, I was so hammered. I was smashing Miller Lights because I knew exactly what was going to happen because that's what the Lions do to you. That's what the Lions do to you. You think you understand pain? You don't understand pain. No, you don't understand. I have been rooting for this team since I moved to America. They have been my one and only team.
Yeah.
And I don't have a choice.
I remember when we were in high school, you'd come over and we'd watch the games and we'd turn them off and then they would like somehow turn it around in the last minute. And we would be like, oh my God, we turned it off like with 10 minutes left and they won. But now it's like, if they're winning, you might as well just turn it off because they're just going to blow it.
They're going to blow it. If they start off in the first half with a 24-point lead, you know they're going to tank harder than the fucking Falcons did in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
They're going to make that 28-3 look like it's nothing. So, I mean, here's what it is. Detroit is a young team. It's a second year. And Philadelphia is no joke. So it's going to come down to whether or not we can stop that offense. I don't have any confidence in the defense. There's some really good players on the defense, but whether or not they're meshing, I watched the Hard Knocks episodes with them, and it was interesting. Jared Goff definitely looked better. We definitely have some good receivers. Mr. Pimpleton, I don't know if he's still on the team or not. I haven't seen the final episode, but yeah, I don't see the Lions winning this. But if they do, it'd be a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. And then Monday we got Broncos versus Seahawks.
This is a Russell Wilson payback match.
Yeah.
Waiting to happen. This is he's gonna do everything and anything possible. The magician is gonna come and pull a rabbit out of his hat. And I feel an upset here. And I think Denver is gonna do it. The Seahawks are gonna come into a high altitude and this is gonna be interesting.
Yep. Seahawks, Kenneth Walker is questionable right now. He had hernia surgery in August.
Mm-hmm. So, who's their quarterback right now?
For the Seahawks?
Yeah.
I don't know. They probably bumped up their guy.
Like, did they just pick up some second-rate dude, or is this going to be like
Seahawks quarterback Drew Lock?
Drew Lock?
Yep.
Didn't he play for Denver? He did. He played for Denver. Did they just trade Russell Wilson for Drew Lock?
Lied. On Friday, Geno Smith will start.
Geno. Yep. Oh my God, Geno. That poor man has had more freaking knee surgeries than anybody. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like past his concussion protocol. Why is he still playing?
They flipped him on August 27th. So it was going to be Drew Lock and they switched and now it's going to be Geno.
No chance.
Yeah.
No chance. Geno Smith is going to be walking around there with a walker. Like he's a gentle breeze away from tearing every MCL and ACL in his body. Like that
He's
poor man.
31 years old.
Yeah, he's had so many injuries, dude. I feel bad for Geno. I thought he was going to be great coming out of college, but it's same thing with Russ. What is it? RBG the third or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, no. This is gonna be definitely Broncos. I think
Yeah, I can't believe they actually switched him. They must have just felt like Gino was.
Drew Lock is a bum.
Yeah, but
Like how imagine how bad he must be for Geno Smith to take over.
hey, he came out of Missouri, huh?
Mm,
University of Missouri,
yeah,
2015. Hmm. Okay. So yeah, Gino's starting. No Kenneth Walker. Well,
wonderful.
he's questionable, but I'm gonna say no Kenneth Walker.
No, no,
They're not gonna waste it on that.
I don't think so either.
Other notable injuries: Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold. He's 4 to 6 weeks for his ankle.
Can we just talk about the fact that we have a first round draft pick behind another first round draft pick for this team? The fall of Sam Darnold, my guys, from USC. Man, I
Yeah.
feel so bad for this dude. He is now back up to Baker Mayfield. I
Mm,
don't know if they were in the same class, but that is a pain that we cannot imagine. There is a rage inside that man that's going to drive him to murder.
yeah, and then of course he had to hurt his ankle, so that if he
Yeah,
did have any
so
chances to throw passes, now it's
no, it's
gone.
completely done. Yeah.
And then the Lions, obviously, they're not going to have Jameson Williams.
That was expected though cuz
Yeah,
they grabbed him knowing that. But I mean, you can't give up on a wide receiver from Bama, dude.
no. So for people that don't know, Jameson Williams, tier 1 wide receiver. Um, he actually tore his ACL during the national championship game last year.
Poor
Well,
guy.
technically earlier this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit. We were kind of laughing about that right before we started with the show. We were like, that might be a sign.
Yeah, I don't know. It's either a sign that God's testing you or just God just wants you to do something else.
Yeah.
Because that is, oh my God. I can't imagine that, dude. Imagine playing in the last game of the season. You're about to go into the NFL, you're playing and you tear your ACL. My
God
God.
damn it. Um, Controversy: Deshaun Watson, 11 games for alleged sexual misconduct.
Yeah, you know what? They got to do what they got to do. I mean, 11 games, it seems if it's true, I mean, he should be out of the NFL. Like some of the stuff that he's alleged of doing is pretty terrible.
People have been saying
Uh
that for
yeah,
a long
so if
time.
yeah, he should be out of the NFL. You can't have somebody like that representing because he always put up a face that he was like the nice guy. You know, when that hurricane happened in Houston, he was like paying all the employees there in cash so that way they could keep working. Like you just don't know what people are. And like I said, I don't know for a fact if these are true or not. I mean, but the victims have come out and they've talked about it. And, whenever you have a man in power with wealth, I mean, he's either going to get targeted or he's going to abuse that power.
Yep.
So it's one or the other. It's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I can't make a judgment either way. So until it's actually proven he's innocent until proven guilty, if it's proven guilty, then so be it. He should
Yep.
be out of the NFL.
And then DeAndre Hopkins, 6 games for them finding ostarine, I believe you say it. It's an androgen receptor. Um, I heard you had a quote you wanted to read for the
Yeah, I got a
listeners.
quote directly from the mouth of Mr. DeAndre Hopkins. First off, I love this man. He is one of my favorite wide receivers in the NFL, and this hurts me just to read. So here we go. This is from DeAndre Hopkins trying to explain his suspension when he's trying to reduce his suspension time. I've never taken any of that kind of stuff. If you know what it is, it can be found in shampoo. Yeah, they just have PEDs in shampoo. It's just normal. He had a poppy muffin and all of a sudden he's got PEDs in the
Mm,
system. It can be in a lot of different things. Obviously, the NFL is very black and white. So, of course, I wish the rules wasn't so black and white. It is what it is. it's hard to know when something gets contaminated by a trace amount when you're working in a manufacturing company. Where is he going with this? Like, he's like derailing his own thing. He's like, some dude at the manufacturing man was just had some Osterine on him, touched some shampoo, and now I just tested positive for these PEDs, man. You know, when you work at a shampoo place, you know, you got to dose up. You got to be strong. It's hard to know what what you can eat, what you can do when you're not in control of manufacturing anything or what goes through a conveyor belt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
man.
obviously,
I know
I
what you're
do think the
saying.
rules should change. But like I said, that stuff, it works itself out. And I've never taken anything. I barely take vitamins.
Right.
Yeah. So apparently something happened on a conveyor belt on a shampoo factory and it contaminated the shampoo he was using, and now he tested positive for PEDs.
So yeah, they found 0.1%. Um, doesn't seem like a lot, but
It's hard for me to believe. I mean, that could be just something he used earlier. It could have been
for
weeks
like training,
before.
yeah,
Yeah, and his body metabolized. He might have thought that he had enough time where when he before he got tested
yeah,
that it would be out of his system, but they found a trace amount. And
yep,
once they find it, they don't have a choice. The rule says if you get caught with anything in your system that's performance enhancing, they
yep.
have to suspend you to keep the game fair. Now, do I believe that every person that's playing this game has been caught for using? No, it's not possible. We want these games to be more violent. We want
Man,
these games to be faster and more aggressive, and we want these guys to hit and collide with each other with more force, bigger hits, bigger runs. Like, you don't get that with just regular training. I mean, at a certain point, these guys get up in age where they have to use some of this stuff to compete.
you remember that game where Aaron Rodgers? Sorry to go back to this, but remember when he got hurt really bad, like he messed up his shoulder,
Yeah.
and they took him out and they brought him back and he played the rest of the game. They won. I don't remember who it was against. I think it was the Vikings
Mm-hmm.
or somebody. Um, when they interviewed him, his his pupils were so dilated and his eyes were bloodshot red. And it
He
was
was
like,
probably
what?
doped up on so many fucking
I know. I'm like,
painkillers, dude.
what did they put in this man to make him throw this
He looked like a
ball?
cat after they just saw a catnip.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
his
even
eyes,
know if he was there. I don't even know if he remembers the rest of that night.
like he probably just had the plays in his head and he was just playing backyard football in the clouds. He was that high. He was like, Devonte Adams, go to that other cloud.
Yeah,
I'll
I
throw it
got
to
you,
you.
bro.
Like it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, these guys do get a lot of painkillers. I mean, like it's a lot of stuff where they gotta have when your quarterback goes down and like it's either him or this other guy. So you
Yep.
gotta, hey, you want to play? Yeah, just take this, inject, and then he's good to go. He doesn't
Yep.
feel any pain.
No, no, he didn't feel anything.
He didn't know where he
I
was.
don't even know if he knew he was walking at points.
No, they have to like take a dolly and move him around.
They're like, you just throw the ball. We can take care of the
Yeah,
rest.
we'll take the rest. You run. You tell me when you need to run.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we had for this week's starting episode. So
Absolutely. We wanted to talk about, some of the stuff that we found amusing, some of the things that we found interesting, and kind of get your point of view as well. Feel free to reach out to us. You can use the same email for Drunk with Questions. And then if you want to just put it in the sub that it's regarding sports, and we'd love to talk to you about certain topics. If there's anything that we missed today, please let us know. This episode should be live on Friday, so it will be after the Rams game. So I mean, our predictions could be completely off, and if that's the case, feel free to roast us because that's part of this. When you're talking about sports, you got to expect it, and you're
yep.
going to get it from all the fans, and you're going to get it from all angles. So
Hmm.
we're ready for it. Bring it on.
But yeah, thank you everybody for listening, and hopefully you enjoyed our first episode.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one, guys.